What is up, everybody? Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NFL player prop picks. We're talking the NFL Week 8 Sunday slate specifically, so just looking at games for Sunday. Smaller slate this week, a bunch of teams on bye. So I'm going to have 4 plays for you guys to lock in. I am laddering all 4 of these plays. I am very, very confident in all 4 of these plays. I know that I've been confident a lot, and it hasn't quite worked out. That's the understatement of the year, but I do really like what we have in store for Sunday. I feel like we're kind of getting back to a groove, and the plays that we have on Sunday are going to go well. I'm recording this after Thursday Night Football, so I do have a Thursday Night Football recap, which really sucked. I go to bed early. No shame in that. I went to bed, and Justin Jefferson had 72 receiving yards at halftime. I was feeling really good about the ladder all the way up to 120 and figured at a minimum he was at least going to get 8 more receiving yards to get the main line to at least make it so we profited on Thursday night. Guess what? I woke up, saw that he did not, I think he had 1 more catch for 3 yards in the second half, meaning he did not get 80 receiving yards. He did not get any of the ladders. He lost everything for us. It was not fun to wake up to that on Friday. I thought that I had basically just misread my phone and thought, that can't be right. But it was. So we were down 1.53 units just on Justin Jefferson on Thursday. Just continues. Really, all year it sucked, but since week 6 specifically, it's just been absolutely dreadful. We were slightly profitable in week 7, immediately lost all that. So we're down back over 10 units on the year. I can harp on this and say we've been unlucky, which some of it has. Some of it's been bad reads. None of it's gone well. I'm very confident that we will end the season and this will be green and not red, but we got to get there first. I appreciate everybody who's still rocking with me. I know it's been rough. Comments have mostly been nice, which I do appreciate because it's not fun when you're giving out these plays and you're just getting your hiney kicked, but that's the nature of the business, and sometimes you'll get kicked in the teeth. That happens. But we get back up, we move on. I do, again, really like what we have in store for Sunday, so hopefully week 8, that's when we start finding our groove. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out Props Madness. They have an NBA tool. I should say the tool works also for the NBA. I'll walk you through how I use it. I think they are phenomenal, so I highly recommend checking them out. I put a link to them in the description of the video. And the first play that we are locking in here is actually on the rushing yards prop. And you see that you can filter based on all these props. And we're going with Bijan Robinson. So we need to head to the Dolphins versus Falcons game. And I am taking him on a ladder play up to 100 plus. So you can get him, his main line right now is 88.5, all the way up at 95.5 at some places, which is insane. The way I played Bijan Robinson was I took him at his main line and then I took him for a ladder up to 100 as well. I know that it's technically at 88.5 when I am recording this, below his season average. I just love this as a fate of recent results. I mean, we've seen Bijan have 2 absolutely blow up games, 2 absolutely where he didn't do anything games, and then 2 mediocre games where his efficiency was okay, but 72, 75 yards is not horrible. It's really all about the matchup against the Dolphins, whose run defense is an absolute travesty. I mean, you look at these last couple games. I mean, look at every single starting running back. So Jonathan Taylor missed it in week 1, 71 yards on 79.5 over under. Since then, every single starting running back has gone over against the Dolphins, except for Quinshon Judkins. His was 84.5. He scored 3 touchdowns in this game. He had 25 carries. It was a wild game that I also had him over 84.5. So if you just wonder how bad things have gone, just know that I had him over 84.5. He ended on 84. That's fun. Bad game from him, but you look at every other game. Kamani Vidal, 6.9. That's a very nice number. Yards per carry. Rico Dowdle, 9 yards per carry. He had 206 yards. I laddered Dowdle in this game. I should have laddered him as high as the sportsbooks would let me. The week before that, both Jets running backs, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, both hit their over-under, and Braylon Allen got hurt. He played 10% of the snaps, 4 rushes for 26 yards, got hurt, still went over. The week before that, it was James Cook, 108 yards, 5.7 yards per carry. The only thing that is keeping me from laddering Bijan up to 150 yards is that this game has blowout potential written all over it. The Falcons are at home. They just had a pretty gross loss to the 49ers, a team that they went to. Maybe can't say they should have beaten because they were the underdogs, but should have put up a better fight than they did. So it could be a Tyler Algier game. I think his price at 39.5 also looks good, but people would tell me that I'm getting cute if I took Tyler Algier, so I'm just going with Bijan. I'm expecting him to have a phenomenal game in this one. And I'll recap everything in the official plays that we are on at the end. But I do like Bijan Robinson a lot. That's play number one. Next up, we're going to head to the Cowboys versus Broncos. We're actually going to the receiving yards market. So just going to go ahead and change that up here, walk you through how I do that. And we're going to go with Courtland Sutton. So I took Sutton last week. I laddered him up to 90 yards. He hit the 60 plus and he hit the 80 plus. So we did hit that pretty well for us. And I like him once again. It wasn't like it was a perfect game for Sutton. He had 10 targets, only caught 6 of them for 87 yards. Now, some of those were not great targets for Courtland Sutton, but I mean, you see that he's gone over his main line of 60.5, 59.5, which you can get at DraftKings. In 5 of 7 games, he's been really, really good. Had a gross game, 3 good games in a row. Gross game, as of right now, 1 good game in a row. But you look at the matchup here, the Cowboys are just a dream for passing props. Now, you look, maybe if you want to say maybe they've gotten better recently. I don't really think that's the case. This was a Commanders team that Jaden Daniels got hurt, I think, at the end of the first half. Maybe it was in the third quarter. But most importantly, the Commanders were missing their top 2 receivers. Both Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin were out for this game. So the Commanders quarterback was throwing to jabronis like Chris Moore and Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane. Decent players, but not the starters. Before that, none of the Panthers receivers did much. Rico Dowdle rushed for basically 200. I had over 200 combined yards against them. So it was just the running back that did the damage. But then you look before that, the Jets, both the receivers went over. And the Jets, they can't throw the ball. Josh Reynolds, Garrett Wilson hit their over. Against the Packers, both tracked receivers hit their over. Against the Bears, it was only 2 of their receivers, so not a great game for the Bears, but they annihilated the Cowboys in this game. And then we all know what happened when the Giants played them. They got Russell Wilson lit them up. So if you look at the entire year, the Cowboys have allowed the 4th most receiving yards per game, specifically to wide receivers. They've looked better recently. I kind of think that has more to do with the schedule than them actually figuring it out on defense. And I think Courtland Sutton is going to have a great game. I mean, you look at the Cowboys, the second most receiving yards allowed in man coverage, the 3rd most allowed in zone coverage. Now, if you look at the entire year, they play a lot of zone, but they've been playing more man recently. So like this 84% zone, it drops as you go week by week, and they're actually middle of the pack, maybe even like top 12 in terms of man coverage. Now, Sutton's much better against man, so that is something that his performance has been better against man, but man or zone, I think he's going to have a great game in this one. Really, some receivers had a better game than Sutton last game, and I just don't think that's going to happen again in a fantastic matchup against the Cowboys, who, I mean, if you look at like schedule-adjusted fantasy points allowed, you filter it by wide receivers, Dallas is number 1, and Courtland Sutton lines up on the outside 76% of the time, not really a slot guy. So I think that he's going to have a good game in this one. We're laddering him up. That is our second play. And then the last 2 plays are actually both on Sunday Night Football. Now, I'm not just playing 2 plays on Sunday Night Football because it's Packers-Steelers and it's Aaron Rodgers playing against Green Bay for the first time. 2 really good looks. The first one is DK Metcalf. This one, classic fate of recent results. You look at him, had cashed his over receiving prop 2 games in a row, missed it last game. Now, it was kind of a weird game where I think he had like 40 yards on the first drive, something like that. Didn't really do anything the rest of the game. Only had 5 targets. You look at him on the year last week, or I should say the week before that, 9 targets. The week before that, 5 targets, caught all 5 for over 100 yards. 4 targets, 6 targets, and then the first game, 7. So 5 is lower than what we would like. And even if he only has 5 targets, we've seen what 5 targets can get DK Metcalf. So the way I played him was I took 60 for a unit, and then I laddered him up to 90. So I didn't do the 100 ladder, just 60, 80, and 90 is how I played it. You look at the Packers defense and you think, oh, they're a good defense. Why do you want to take a wide receiver against them? And they are a good defense. Not so much recently. You look at them, 7 of 15 receivers have gone over. So again, that doesn't look great. But they've hit their over by an average of 8 receiving yards above what their over-under is priced at. But look recently. So like, yeah, the first couple games of the year, their defense was fantastic. Since then, 7 of 9 receivers have gone over against the Packers. Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, couldn't remember his first name, and Zay Jones all hit their over against the Packers. The week before that, both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins hit their over. Sure, Yoshi Voss didn't. He still had 4 targets, Joe Flacco targets, but Both their main receivers did. Against the Cowboys, George Pickens, 134 yards against the Packers. So it's not only receivers, it's number one receivers are going off against the Packers. In this zone man split, it's very, very important. The Packers play zone 80% of the time. They play a ton of zone coverage. Not only does DK Metcalf, you can just tell by green versus red, he annihilates, crushes zone coverage, but it's like to an extreme extent. We're looking at yards per route run. So literally when you run a route, what is your average yards per route run? A good number are guys, in the 2.5 above 2 range. DK Metcalf is third in the entire NFL in yards per route run, 3.52. The only guys ahead of him, Puka Nacua having a historic season before he got hurt, Jackson Smith and Jigba having a historic season, who I just can't seem to bet on the right night. That happens. He annihilates, DK Metcalf does, crushes zone coverage. That's what he's going to see 75-80% of the time against the Packers. And I mean, I'm not really a narrative guy, but Aaron Rodgers against the Packers, probably going to want to throw the ball a lot. The Packers do have a really good run defense. Probably going to throw to his main target. I mean, nobody else on the Steelers really does that much except for DK Metcalf. It's like a randomly spread around between the 3 tight ends. Calvin Austin might be back for this game. Jalen Warren could get loose out of the backfield. But I think it's going to be Metcalf. I think we're going to see 9 targets in this one, 7 targets like we've seen. And I think it's going to be a good game for DK Metcalf. So that's play number 3. And then our fourth and final play is the other side, Tucker Kraft. I was debating one of these wide receivers, but Christian Watson is most likely back. I think he might take some away from Dobbs or Golden, if not both. I think Tucker Kraft is going to get his. Now, pretty frustrating on Tucker Kraft. I bet him 2 games ago to get to 50 yards. He only had 2 targets. He caught both of them for 43 yards. And guess what he did the game after that? 10 targets, only 5 receptions. So even though we are taking him to do something that he did last week, I also took him at 60 plus. That game could have been a lot better. Very, very, very good matchup against the Steelers for tight ends. You look at them, as you can tell, 5 of 7 receivers have hit their over. 5 of 7 tight ends have hit their over against the Steelers. Yeah, Mason Taylor missed. This was his first game of his career. Didn't go over. AJ Barner, Hunter Henry, TJ Hawkinson. David Njoku missed. He got hurt in this game. Played 44% of the snaps. Guess who went off? Harold Fannin Jr., 81 receiving yards last week. Noah Fant, season high 44 receiving yards against the Steelers. You look at them, tight ends receiving yards allowed per game. Steelers have allowed the fifth most receiving yards to tight ends in the entire NFL. Very, very good matchup for tight ends. You want to go to schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed? Guess who is number 3? Your Pittsburgh Steelers, 4.3 above average. So tight ends are a good matchup. And DK Metcalf, Tucker Kraft, he's gone over this number in 3 of 6 games, and he's hit the closing line, what his line ended at, in 3 of 6 games as well. So the line has been, it's 50-50, but I do think that this is a good matchup for him. He's coming off of 10 targets, which I really, really like. So yeah, that's all we got. 4 plays. I love all 4. Let's hope I don't get burned. Loving all 4 like I have basically every other game this season is what I'm looking for. Here's what we're playing. So this is the official plays that we are on. Bijan Robinson, 88.5, 100 plus rushing yards, half unit on the 100 plus. Courtland Sutton, over 60.5, full unit, mixed lamb on that bad boy. 80 plus, 90 plus, 100 plus. You see the unit sizing. We're lowering that unit size. So quarter, 0.1, 0.1. Tucker Kraft, taking his receiving yardage prop. It's over 52.5. I need to update these numbers, not 50.5. But full unit on the 50, quarter unit on the 60 plus. And then DK Metcalf, we're taking him 60, 80, 90, full unit McSlam on the 60, quarter unit on each of those. If every single play hits, let's say we finally get some good luck, we sweep the board, everything is fantastic, we will profit 7.83 units. We won't get ourselves in the green on the year, but we'll be very close. So let's hope for that. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out Props Madness. I walked you through how I use them. Check out everything else, links in the description of the video. Appreciate, again, for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly, and have a good one.